So this entry was inspired by a card pulling from my favorite oracle deck that I did the evening of July 19th, so a couple days ago from now. So a little backstory to this. As my spiritual journey over the last 2 years has started to deepen through my yoga practice and my own self-exploration, I've gone through waves of diving into new practices, research topics, and more, and also those mixed with waves of feeling a disconnect to these practices. At times going days without tuning into them properly, but most recent, I have begun to see the actual manifestation of these practices and the things I put into the universe this past year, making me feel silly for even the slightest hint of doubt I may have felt at the time I was investing my energy into the thoughts I so wanted reflected back at me at that time. I see a beautiful vision in place for what I can offer the world, really, through the strengths I have come to rediscover within myself over the past 10 years, and I know I'll keep rediscovering them. And just as everyone does, I possess all that I need to make it happen. But now I kind of know what I need to put my energy into if I really want to turn this manifestation of this vision I see into a reality. Self-reflection has kept bringing me back to finding routine in my spiritual practice, creating rituals that I can resonate with and ground my own spirit amidst this kind of chaotic human life that we live in order to be in constant connection with my purpose, to explore it deeper and to kind of keep figuring out what it is I can do to serve it. And it was obvious. I was already doing it, you know, just not quite fully with as much commitment and resilience that I could truly offer. My manifestation requires me to talk the talk. Of course, it's time I learned to truly walk the walk. It made sense. It became clear that truth was something I needed to turn my energy to, and the universe made that clear with the very card I pulled that evening. So, pulling the card, inspired by so many beautiful souls that I have had enter my life and contribute to my journey of self-rediscovery, I began to walk my walk, taking a more realistic approach to my practice as I tuned into what my spirit felt like it would need for this card pulling. And I headed outside to sit at my patio with a view of the setting sun. I am currently living at my parents', and they have a gorgeous view of the sunset, and where I live in Eastern Washington, it's just the sunsets are always like, so I was like, yeah, like sitting down, I know that would be a good place for me to really tune into this kind of ritual of tuning into the universe and tuning into my purpose and kind of what I need from this card pull. So along with that, I also brought out with me a fossilized ammonite. An ammonite is a type of extinct marine mollusk, which this specific one was given to me by a dear coffee customer of mine this past year who likes to go hobby mining. And a fun fact that I absolutely geek over is I was actually the second living human being ever to hold this fossil in my hands when he first gave it to me, he being the first. So I just am like, oh my god, that like blew my mind. And it just kind of puts things in perspective. So the reason I chose this one, I started a gems, crystal, and precious stones collection not long ago, and being a part of my, walking the walk, is using them more actively within my spiritual practices, as well as continually educating myself on their properties. So I scanned my babies, and this little guy made his presence known. So outside we went, fossil, card deck, my dog, and I. The card, the crow, was drawn. At first I was hesitant, but told myself the golden rule, don't make assumptions. I proceeded on to read. Crow teaches us to walk our talk, to find congruence between who we say we are and who we really know ourselves to be. This is the essence, the timeless message this card wants me to hear. Next was the invitation, the call to action or gift of opportunity if perceived correctly by me. When you speak the truth and practice truth, eventually everything you say becomes true. Your power to co-create with the truth is universal law. As if this wasn't a bullseye of an answer from the get-go, after I had taken a moment to soak in the words, I picked the card up to take a deeper look into the image to find the ammonite spiral in the center of the crow's image. Oh, hi there, universe. I see you. I honestly couldn't stop from letting out a chuckle. Let me explain. The ammonite spiral is considered a universal spiral of energy, being that it is a powerful and earthy fossil, with its spiral shape symbolizing that of evolution and continual change. A little side note, I just closed a decade chapter in Seattle, which was my first big move, hometown to college, and then I spent 10 years there. To start a new one, I just moved to start this new one. Honestly, that scares the hell out of me for many reasons, but fills me with endless excitement, purpose, and energy for so many more unexplained ones, that all at the same time. But I've been told that this is what alignment feels like. So being a human is a trip. There's doubt, questions, unfavorable answers, uncertainties, unknowns. Then flip that internal coin and there's stubbornness, arrogance, persistence, and egotism. Maybe you identify more heavily with one side or the other of any number of emotional coins. It really doesn't matter much. Neither side is good or bad in the end, but both can work in or against our favor depending on how we react to it. Learning to bring awareness upon our reactions to how we feel internally will only reflect more understanding upon ourselves, who we are, and the world we move through. But let me say this again. Being human is a trip. There's aging, dealing with above emotions, and many others. Dealing with our own evolving mind, processing our environment and situations, then put into the mix more than one of these, for lack of better words, emotionally combustible organic beings trying to comprehend and understand each other and their relationships to each other. Even better yet, processing each other, their relationships, and their environment, all while further processing the interactions taking place within said environment. Seriously, talk about a trip. So let me say this for everyone. Next time we're feeling overwhelmed or maybe notice someone else in a similar state, flip on that self-compassion or compassion switch, because being human isn't easy and everyone is fighting battles. Being on this planet though, moving through a lifetime on this earth can feel utterly amazing, with the unpredictable interruption of also feeling downright miserable. Or it can also adversely play out the other way around. How can we not, in the end, come to cherish such a thing, or at least find beauty and appreciation in it, in all of it? The good, the bad moments, the utterly amazing, and the downright miserable, the never-ending roller coaster of life. The perspective made possible by paying attention to the dance of finding balance, a dance beautifully synchronized within each perfect beat by the best dance partner you could ever imagine, the universe. Well, if you let it. This dance could also feel like you have 2 left feet, a bad sound system, and an invisible gremlin out to get you who keeps tying your shoelaces. Well, if you let it, you catch my drift. It takes 2 to tango, and life is there to catch you if you put your trust into it, even if you aren't ready for that dip.